I gotta be honest. When I think of sauerkraut, my brain it goes to two places, and that's it.
Let me guess.
Okay, place number one, a loaded hot dog at a baseball game, probably buried under mustard.
Yep.
And place number two,
Yeah.
that heavy vinegar-soaked side dish that always shows up next to pork chops. It feels so old school.
It definitely has that ye olde world reputation. For a long time, it was, a condiment. Or maybe survival food for sailors trying to avoid scurvy.
Exactly.
Right.
But now, if you've been anywhere near social media, it's had this massive rebrand. It's not a topping anymore. It's a superfood.
It's been crowned a superfood.
And that's exactly why we're digging into this today. It's everywhere. Every time I open my phone, someone's telling me this fermented cabbage is going to fix my gut, my anxiety, maybe even help me live longer. And, I want to see the receipts.
And that is the mission. We are stripping away the Instagram filters, the marketing hype, and looking strictly at the rigorous human clinical evidence.
And you're stressing the human part.
Oh, absolutely. We don't care what happens in a petri dish. We don't care what happens to a lab rat. What happens in your body when you actually eat this stuff?
And we've got a surprisingly thick stack of sources. We're breaking down the Nielsen pilot study on IBS, a brand new 2025 crossover trial by Schwab, and some really fascinating stuff on elite athletes.
And we're going to try and answer a question that seems simple, but is actually, it's pretty controversial. Do the bacteria in sauerkraut actually need to be alive to give us the benefits?
Okay, I feel like you're teasing a twist already.
Let's just say the whole raw is law philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
It might need a pretty serious software update after we look at this data.
All right, let's unpack this. I want to start with the gut. That's the main sales pitch, right? Eat the kraut, get the good bacteria, happy stomach.
That's the assumption. We think it's a probiotic benefit. You're adding soldiers to the army in your gut.
Right.
And to test that, we have to look at the Nielsen study from 2018. This was so important because they didn't just pick healthy people. They specifically looked at patients with irritable bowel syndrome, IBS.
Which is a huge deal. IBS is so notoriously hard to manage. So what did they have these people do?
Surprisingly simple. Just 75 grams of sauerkraut a day.
Okay, what does that look like?
It's about half a cup. So not a garnish, but not a huge bowl either, just a solid side serving.
Half a cup a day. Very doable. And for how long?
For 6 weeks. And the results, they were genuinely impressive. They use this thing called the IBS Symptom Severity Score.
Okay, what's that? Break that down.
It measures pain, bloating, bowel habits, quality of life, all of it. And they saw a significant reduction in that score. Less pain, less bloating. It worked.
That sounds like a total slam dunk for the probiotics. The live bacteria went in, fixed everything, case closed.
Well, not so fast. This is where it gets really, really interesting. The researchers split the patients into two groups. Group A got unpasteurized, raw sauerkraut, teeming with live bacteria.
The good stuff, the stuff you buy in the refrigerated section.
Exactly. But Group B got pasteurized sauerkraut.
Pasteurized, so heat treated, the bacteria are all dead.
Completely dead. Sterilized. Nothing living in that jar.
Okay. So I'm guessing the raw group did way better.
You'd think so, but you'd be wrong. There was no significant difference between the two groups.
Wait, what?
Both groups saw significant symptom relief. The group eating the dead bacteria improved just as much as the group eating the live bacteria.
Hold on, so the heat-treated stuff worked just as well for IBS symptoms?
Yeah.
That completely torpedoes the eat living foods narrative. How's it even possible? If the bacteria are dead, what's doing the work?
It forces us to rethink the whole mechanism. If it's not the live probiotics, what is it? And the answer is probably a mix of prebiotics and postbiotics.
Okay, let's define those. Prebiotics.
Yeah.
That's the food for the bacteria, right? The fiber.
There's fiber from the cabbage.
Well,
even when it's cooked, it's still there.
Yep.
But the real key here might be the postbiotics.
Postbiotics. Sounds like a sequel.
Think of them as the ghosts of the bacteria. Or maybe a better way is their luggage. When the bacteria ferment the cabbage in the jar, they create all these compounds. Organic acids, enzymes, vitamins, fragments of their own cell walls.
So when you pasteurize it and the bacteria die, all that stuff they made, the luggage, it doesn't just vanish.
Exactly. It's still in the jar. And it turns out those compounds are highly bioactive. They can interact with our gut lining and our immune system all on their own.
Yeah, that is a huge aha moment. It's like, even if the construction worker leaves the site, the house they built is still standing. The function remains.
That's a perfect analogy. The work is still there, even if the worker is gone.
So for IBS, it's the ghosts and the fiber doing the heavy lifting, which means raw is always better is not always true.
Not for symptomatic relief, no. But I want to go deeper on this because Nielsen was a pilot study. To really see what's happening, we have to look at this brand new Schropp study from 2025.
This is the crossover trial you mentioned.
Yes, the gold standard. Every participant is their own control. They took 87 healthy adults and upped the dose to 100 grams a day.
And they were looking at the microbiome itself. Like, do the new bacteria move in?
Yep. They wanted to see if they would colonize.
Did they?
Temporarily. While they ate the fresh sauerkraut, you could see a spike in certain bacteria, like Lactobacillus paracelse.
That's a mouthful.
It is. But, and this is the key, as soon as they stopped eating it, the washout period, those bacteria vanished.
So they're just tourists. They visit, but they don't buy property.
They do not stick around. So the idea of seeding your gut permanently is, well, based on this, it's a myth. It's a transient effect.
Okay.
But here's the paradox. This is the finding that really turned heads. They measured serum short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs.
Okay, quick reminder.
Yeah.
Why do we care about SCFAs?
Right. Short-chain fatty acids, butyrate, propionate, acetate, they're superstars for metabolic health. They're fuel for your colon cells. They reduce inflammation. You want lots of them.
More is better. Got it.
So, in the Schropp study, which version do you think produced the highest levels of these beneficial acids in the blood?
Common sense says the fresh raw version. The live bacteria are in there working.
And common sense would be wrong again. The pasteurized sauerkraut, the dead one, led to a higher increase in these serum SCFAs.
Stop. The dead bacteria version created more of the good stuff in the blood. That makes no sense. Why would killing the bacteria make the food more potent?
The theory revolves around something called the food matrix.
The food matrix.
Think about the physical structure of the cabbage. It's tough. It has cell walls. In the fresh version, a lot of those postbiotic compounds might be locked inside the plant cells.
So our bodies have a hard time getting to it.
Exactly. But when you pasteurize it, you heat it. Heat breaks down those cell walls. It softens the matrix. The theory is that heating it basically unlocks these nutrients, making them more bioavailable.
So cooking it, it pre-digests it for us so we can absorb the good stuff more easily.
That's the working theory. Plus, in the fresh version, the live bacteria are still metabolically active. They might be consuming some of those SCFAs for their own energy.
Ah, so they're eating the profits.
In the pasteurized jar, they're dead. They're not eating anything.
That is wild. It suggests processed, in this case isn't a dirty word, it might even be an enhancement.
It's a nuance that gets lost in the natural is best conversation.
Truly fascinating.
Okay.
Let's pivot. We've done IBS patients, healthy adults. What about people pushing their bodies to the absolute limit? You mentioned athletes.
Yes, this is the Karacic and Zonjic research. These were proof-of-concept studies, smaller groups, but very detailed.
And athletes have unique gut needs, right? All that stress.
Exactly. Intense exercise can cause a temporary leaky gut. So they wanted to see if sauerkraut could reinforce that gut barrier. They used a much higher dose, 250 grams a day.
Whoa. 250 grams. We started at 75. That is a massive amount of cabbage every single day.
It is. For 10 days straight. And broadly, it worked. They saw good shifts in the microbiota, an increase in a family of bacteria called Lactobacillus.
Which is a good guy.
It's a good guy. Associated with gut barrier integrity. The athletes also reported improved stool consistency. So, functionally, their guts were happier.
But eating that much, there has to be a catch.
There was a biological cost, a very clear adaptation period, and this is really important for anyone listening. Around days 5 through 7, the athletes hit a peak of GI distress.
Distress is in.
Bloating, gas, loose stools, the works.
The sauerkraut surprise.
It's a turf war in your gut,
Yeah.
but it resolved by day 8. The body adapted. It's just a warning. Don't jump straight to a high dose.
Right. Note to self, do not start this the week before a big event.
Please don't. And there were 2 other curious findings in their blood work. First, they saw a temporary decrease in vitamin B12 levels.
D12 went down. I thought fermentation created B vitamins.
It does. But in the gut, it's a competitive environment. The theory is the massive influx of new bacteria were consuming the B12 for their own growth faster than the athletes could absorb it.
The bacteria were stealing the vitamins.
Basically, yeah. And the second thing was a significant increase in lymphocyte counts.
White blood cells.
Yeah.
So an immune response.
An immune activation, yeah.
Yeah.
Not an infection, but it shows you're dumping this biologically active material into the gut, and the immune system wakes up and pays attention.
It really shows that food isn't just fuel, it's information. You're sending a signal.
Precisely.
Okay, let's shift gears to the mood boosts, the anti-aging stuff. You see it all over social media. Cure your anxiety with sauerkraut. Is there anything to that psychobiotic angle?
This is where we have to be the buzzkills, I'm afraid.
Hit me with it.
The theory is sound, the gut-brain axis is real, but there are currently no direct randomized controlled trials showing sauerkraut treats depression or anxiety in humans. Zero. In fact, one observational study of stressed-out medical students found that high intake of fermented foods was associated with worse anxiety and depression.
Worse. How?
You have to be careful with observational data. It's likely reverse causation.
Meaning the stressed out students were just stress eating whatever was easy, and that happened to be fermented.
Exactly. Or it could be something called the tyramine effect, which we should definitely talk about. But the bottom line, sauerkraut is not a proven antidepressant. Do not swap your therapy for cabbage.
Good advice. And what about longevity?
Again, zero human clinical trials. The data you see is from petri dishes or fruit flies. It's a huge leap to apply that to people.
So manage expectations. It might help your gut, but it won't make you immortal.
A very fair summary.
Now, you mentioned tyramine. Let's talk safety. Because for some people, this isn't just about gas. It can be actually dangerous.
This is a crucial public service announcement. We have to talk about tyramine.
Okay, what is it?
It's an amino acid that builds up in aged and fermented foods. Cheese, wine, sauerkraut. Most of us have an enzyme called MAO that breaks it down no problem.
Right.
But there's a class of older antidepressants called MAO inhibitors, or MAOIs.
The name says it all. They inhibit that enzyme.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're on an MAOI and you eat high tyramine foods, you can't break it down. It builds up and can cause a hypertensive crisis.
Which is what?
A massive sudden spike in blood pressure. It can lead to a stroke or heart attack. It can be fatal. If you are on an MAOI, sauerkraut is strictly off the menu.
That is huge. I don't think I've ever seen that on a jar label.
You rarely do. And there's another group, people with histamine intolerance.
Right.
Fermentation creates histamine. If your body doesn't break it down well, eating sauerkraut can trigger headaches, flushing, a racing heart, anxiety.
So if you eat it and suddenly feel like you're having a panic attack.
It's not a detox reaction, it's a histamine overload. You should stop eating it.
And the obvious one, sodium. It's basically salt cabbage.
It is. We're talking about 1,000 milligrams of sodium per cup.
Wow. That's almost half the daily recommended limit for some people.
So if you have high blood pressure, you have to be really careful.
Okay, so let's get practical. If someone wants to try this safely, how do they start? I'm guessing not with a 250-gram athlete bowl.
Absolutely not. Start low and go slow is the rule. I'd say start with 1 tablespoon a day.
1 tablespoon? Easy.
Do that for a few days. If your gut is fine, no major issues, then you can work your way up to that therapeutic dose we saw in the IBS trials, which was 75 grams, about half a cup.
That seems to be the sweet spot.
It does.
And what about the type? Raw versus pasteurized? Which one do I buy?
This is the best part of the new research. It depends entirely on your goal.
Okay, so scenario A. I want to try and reseed my gut, even just for a little while.
Then you want the raw, refrigerated stuff, the kind with live cultures on the label.
Yeah.
You need the living organisms for that transient effect.
Okay. Scenario B. I have IBS, or I just want those metabolic benefits, the SCFAs.
Then the shelf-stable pasteurized jar is a totally valid, evidence-backed option. It gives you the prebiotics and the postbiotics and might even give you a bigger metabolic boost.
Yeah, it's so liberating for people who can't afford the fancy raw stuff, or maybe just don't like the taste.
Exactly. It makes it more accessible.
And timing. Any rules on when to eat it?
With meals is always smart. The acidity can help with digestion. And the vitamin C in it helps you absorb iron, so eating it with a steak or some lentils makes the whole meal more nutritious.
The nutritional power-up. I love that. So let's wrap this. What's the main takeaway?
The takeaway is that sauerkraut is a prebiotic and postbiotic powerhouse. It's legitimately good for gut health and IBS. But the live bacteria aspect, the idea that you're planting a permanent garden in your gut, that's probably overrated.
It's not about planting a new garden. It's about fertilizing the one you already have.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
And I love that the pasteurized stuff is redeemed. It's like the bacteria leave behind this treasure chest of compounds for us.
Which leads to our final provocative thought.
Lay it on us.
We tend to demonize processed foods and idolize anything raw. But if a heat-treated pasteurized jar of sauerkraut provides more beneficial short-chain fatty acids to your blood than a raw one, Do we need to completely rewrite the rules?
Oh, that's good.
Maybe the ghosts of the bacteria are doing more of the heavy lifting than the bacteria themselves?
The ghosts of the bacteria. Maybe think about that the next time I'm in the condiment aisle. Thanks for helping us dive deep today.
Always a pleasure.
And thank you for listening. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.